Guys, once again, PC reboot. Back to back today to answer the question I was asked previously. Should I get a Mac or should I get Windows? Which one should I go with? Um, I would say it depends on what you're doing with it. Once again, like everything else, it all depends on what you're doing with it. Mac is pretty good for media, multimedia type stuff. Anything, yeah, they're pretty solid. I'm not a fan of Mac myself, but I will give them that much. Um, Windows is good for that stuff too, but it's good for pretty much everything else. It's not. It also can be good, but I just know a lot of people prefer Mac because it's the popular choice. But there's still a lot you can do with Windows. Windows is more widespread, I think. Um, Especially when it gets down to conducting business. Like most businesses now still run Windows 7. They run on Windows. Very few that I know of run on Mac because a lot of the software that they need is Windows compatible. Of course, you have Windows Server that goes hand in hand. So you might want to stick with Microsoft in that aspect. But for specific use, it just depends. You want a game, of course, it's going to be a PC because you can't game on Macs. Developers don't support Mac. GTA, Call of Duty, all that good stuff. It's either one of the gaming platforms or PC. There's no Mac in there. So to add the question, if price is a factor, it's a no-brainer. You want to go with a PC because to me, the price of a Mac is just ridiculous. You're pretty much paying for the name. And people say, "Oh, it's more reliable." Well, no, I actually work on MacBooks for a living, and let me tell you, they are not the most reliable things on this earth. I won't go into detail about it. Maybe in another video, but I won't go on a rant because I'm off work today, and I'd rather not think about it. But Mac PC. Also, I noticed something with whichever one you're used to using. I mean, if you're used to using Mac, why change it? You're used to using Windows, why change it? Because uh, whichever one you're used to, it's going to take some time getting used to the other. Like for Windows, everything is. We'll take the menus for example. All the menus, you have your start menu. And you hit the start button, it expands into another menu, and every other sub menu you go into, it expands it and it creates a new window or whatever, a new menu. But with Mac, if you're looking at their bar at the top, whenever you click on certain things, that menu bar actually changes. The content actually, the headers actually change. And if you're not paying attention, they'll flip on you. Like when I first started using it, I got confused because I was like, well, this just said something different. So now where is that menu I'm looking for? So you have to click off of it, go back and find it. And that's just too much of a hassle for me. So, it's just preference really. A lot of people go with Macs just because they're popular. People pay for popular products. Not to bash Apple because they do I like their phones. They're all right. Nothing bad about their phones except for they take away my headphone jack. But that's a different story. It just depends on what you're using it for. To more specifically answer the question I was asked, we're focusing on the laptops. And the big thing that comes to mind for me is the available ports versus the price, like what it and its power, its processing power. Like for MacBooks, I think the cheapest one you can get is $1,000. And I think that is the MacBook Air. That's pretty good. If you have to go with the MacBook, I go with the MacBook Air. That's the best all around. Because if you go with just the MacBook, those things start at $1,300. It's a 12-inch screen and it has two ports. It has your headphone jack, and then it has your USB Type C. That's the new USB type that's getting put on all the new devices across the board. But for that, you have to buy an adapter for everything. Like the USB Type C is your charge port. It's your USB transfer, your data transfer port. If you want to use the external monitor, you have to buy an adapter to hook it, and these adapters can get expensive buying all these adapters. And that's one more thing, just keep adding stuff you have to keep up with. With the MacBook Air, all these ports are separate and they come on the laptop. The only thing you have to worry about buying an adapter for is the Ethernet port. So, and then, most people's laptop, you're not going to use the Ethernet port. But it is available if you need it. It is wireless. And then you have the MacBook Pro. Now, I would go with the MacBook Air unless there are those of you out there, if an HDMI port is important to you, then that's when you would go with the MacBook Pro. That's the only advantage it has over the MacBook Air, is that it comes with the HDMI port. But yeah, overall I'd say go with the MacBook Air. If you just have to go with Mac, go with the MacBook Air. And in another video I will be discussing, if you want to go with the Microsoft side, you want to stick with Windows, I will be discussing the best, how to get the best bang for your buck out of those, because and that would be my personal choice, because the money you pay for a MacBook, any one of the MacBooks, you can get more out of it for right around pretty much half the price. So yeah, they do look flashy, but there can be some pretty flashy other laptops, the ASUS, Dell's all right. Mainly the ASUS and the HP. I got some to tell you about. Those look really nice. I think I want them just because of how they look, as if I didn't have enough laptops laying around. But stay tuned, and in the next video, that's what we will be discussing.